Sodom and Gomorrah. Where's that at? Well, the Lord said in Genesis 19, he would rain upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone. Brimstone is burning sulfur. The city's all burned, and the bricks have actually turned to ash. Peppered in that ash, there are thousands, actually millions of sulfur balls. These are actually pieces of 99% sulfur. The outside is kind of a white color, but if you break it open, it's a little more yellow inside. Apparently it burned itself out. Golf ball size, variety of size. It literally rained sulfur on that city. I've had several friends, even some scoffers, who said, I don't think that's true. And they went over there to the place where Ron said they were, and they dug through the ash, and sure enough, there are literally millions of these sulfur balls. If you scrape off this white coating, it's pure yellow sulfur, 99.6% pure sulfur. As the sulfur would burn itself out, it would encapsulate itself in its own ash and shut off its oxygen supply. Ends up with a coating around a pure sulfur ball. Found no place in the world except this place over there.
All right, Shalom. Start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachak, Wadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and bishops of the great Muslim that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And I just had to show this, it being a so-called Pride Month. We're surrounded by nothing but wickedness, rebellion. And so every once in a while, it's good to go into this history, because wickedness have exceedingly polluted the earth now. This level of perverseness, it's, reached the four corners, and, now they're even aiming for the children, force this lifestyle down their throats. So, apparently, the society didn't learn from this history. And that's why the Lord is going to, bring the same judgment in a similar fashion upon this place, because it's just a haven for iniquity. You have a license to sin here, and the Lord, he hates sin, and he also the sinners that do it, they're abomination to him. But there's no fear. And that is due to a lot of pride that is on them, that evil pride demon. Let me get this real quick, because the Lord left those receipts for a reason. Anytime people want to discuss about the Bible and, they want to try to go scientific or historical, or they want to, find the archaeology to back up the stories in the Bible. Sodom and Gomorrah and those other cities near it, that's the evidence that you need. Is right in your face. They send these archaeologists to go out there and they do some filming, and they get the information and they see that this is clearly recorded. So they're not going to teach this in your history classes at your universities or at these schools, because they're doing their best to try to eliminate access to the scriptures. They're trying to really get rid of the scriptures, because Satan is trying to, create a new world, a godless world, where people don't believe in the Most High. They don't believe in, the scriptures. People becoming more and more demoralized. So just to remind them, you can go into this. Sirach 10 and verse, I'll start at 12. It says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And we know what they in them cities that got destroyed, and this was thousands of years ago. But this was, when the Lord did that, it was a new thing. It was unprecedented. It was very strange indeed, but the Lord did it. And he delivered Lot by, sending the angels down. And, they told him that the Lord's getting ready to rain fire and brimstone on them cities. So, take you, your wife and your children, and y'all be gone. Y'all get up out of there. And meanwhile, you had those sodomites, trying to tear down the door because they wanted to have relations with the angels. So that demon was heavy, and they had a lot of pride on them in those cities because there was a flourishing society. All right, was that in Luke, where it says that they was eating and drinking and marrying? Let me get that real quick. Yeah, Luke 17 and 28. And it's the same likewise with the time of Noah. We see in that violence, from back then is resurfaced on the earth at a major level. Is far above the time of the days of Noah. So you already know what the Lord got planned for this world. It says Luke 17:28. Likewise also, as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. Matter of fact, let me go to the AMP real quick. Yeah, verse 28 in the Amplified Bible. It was the same as it was in the days of Lot. People were eating, they were drinking, they were buying, they were selling, basically doing business. They were planting, they were building, carrying on business as usual without regard for their sins. And that's these people in a nutshell, because, there's no judgment on the wickedness that these people are involved in. Like it tells us in Habakkuk, because the law is slack and judgment never go forth, wrong judgment proceeds. So we're surrounded by nothing but evil, wickedness, iniquity, and it's unchecked because, there's no enforcement of the law. And that's why, Babylon is, has built up its sins to the heavens, which is why ultimately the Lord's going to judge it soon. It says, but on the very day that Lot left Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone, burning sulfur from heaven and destroyed them all. It will be just the same on the day that the Son of Man is revealed. And, he's just going to pop out and, like what Kendrick say, sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. Well, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, he's going to pop out and show everybody on the earth. All right, he's going to show all these niggas on the earth, man. From to the heathen to 2/3 of our own people. And, it's not going to be announced. The Lord doesn't have an itinerary, man. He's going to pop up like a thief in the night. So you're not going to know of his arrival. We're warnings that he's going to have an arrival because, we go out there and we preach Yahweh Shai that, he's coming back in the clouds and in the chariots, with the angels, with the host of heaven. And they're going to bring judgment. He's going to make judgment and war from one end of the earth to the other, while he's also delivering, all right, granting salvation to his elect, those that love him and had faith and belief. All right. And while the rest of the people, they're going to be carrying on in their pride, all right, thinking, every day alike, with no regard of their sin, no sign of penitence. So anyway, let's go back to Sirach 10. And I'm going to read 13 again. It says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. And that's speaking of what the Lord did to those cities over there. Okay. he because the sins, the iniquities was so damn great at the time. It even tells you in Genesis that, you know, the sins of Sodom, it cries up. Let me see if I can find that. Bear with me for a second while I find the scripture that I'm looking for. I'll read this real quick. This is Genesis 13 and 12. It says, Abram settled in the land of Canaan, and Lot settled in the cities of the valley and camped as far as Sodom and lived there. But the men of Sodom were extremely wicked and sinful against the Most High, unashamed in their open sin before him. Okay, so they had no shame, just like today. You know, they walk around in pride. You know, they got the pride flags. They got laws to protect them. You know, you pretty much get rewarded for being a part of, you know, that group. You know, you say anything against them, you can be ostracized. You can be fired, like all type of stuff. You could be canceled. You got to watch what you say. You got to you got to use the right pronoun without being offensive. It's sickening, man. But the Lord, you know, he's going to address all this wickedness on earth. All right, let me go to maybe the 15th chapter. Yep, this is Genesis 15. In 15 it says, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, you know, talking to Abraham. It says, thou shalt be buried in a good old age, but in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. All right, meaning those Canaanites, there had to be a certain level of wickedness that had to be done there before the Lord say, all right, that's it. You know, finna go send them up in there and take them out. Because there was a lot of, you know, wicked. If you go to Wisdom of Solomon in the 12th chapter, it talks about all the practices that they were doing, that they were known to do, which the Lord told us to, you know, don't do what you see the Egyptians doing and what these Canaanites are doing. You know, to be holy because I'm holy. So they was in all type of pagan practices. So let me real quick, because when you look up brimstone, and we know that this is what the Lord, you know, he used to take those cities out. You know, you pop up in various scriptures. Genesis 19:24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. Deuteronomy 29:23. And that the whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning, that it is not sown nor beareth, nor any grass groweth therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and his wrath. Right? And you look up brimstone. Yeah, let me just look up brimstone real quick. And the Hebrew word is gaparyaf. Yeah, gaparyaf. And it says sulfur. You see that? Sulphur, sulfur, okay, which is one of the elements on the periodic table, okay. It says, I believe pitch, the name of which afterwards transferred to other inflammable materials, especially sulfur. And notice how it's spelled with a pH. People wonder, what is the difference, when you spell it SULFUR or SULPHUR. Well, that's when we say it SULFAR, we say it in American English. That's how we pronounce it and spell it in the American English. The other way is how you spell it in British English. Okay. And I looked up, some told me to look up, are there any cities in Babylon that is named sulfur? And lo and behold, there's sulfurs all throughout Babylon. All right. And they give you the different states that you have these cities. You got Sulphur, Louisiana, Sulphur, Indiana. You got Sulphur Springs, Alabama, right? Sulphur Springs Valley, Arizona, Sulphur Springs, Arkansas, one in Indiana, Iowa, Mississippi, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, Texas. And I'm pretty sure there's even more. I think you have a Sulphur, Oklahoma. So you have that name in various cities all across Babylon. And I thought that was spiritual, just like how brothers was, when we were breaking down the solar eclipse, all right, that happened a few months ago after the Passover. It was going to go past at least 7 cities that had the name Nineveh. We know that Nineveh was an ancient empire that fell. The Most High destroyed that capital city in Syria during the end of the Assyrian Empire. And when we read the prophecy of the destruction of Nineveh, we use it to break down the downfall of Babylon the Great, America. Okay. Because Nineveh was known for commerce as well. Syria, they made a lot of money off of traffic. They had wise men, they had wisdom, and the Lord brought them down. So you have the modern day Nineveh as well. So we saw that as a signal, a sign that the Lord is Xing his place out because he's getting ready to judge it. And now you got these different cities with the names sulfur. And sulfur was definitely, one of the elements used when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So that even bring much more significance and meaning to this, man. All right. America would have to be that place. When it says in 2 Peter as well as in Jude that Sodom and Gomorrah was a memorial for any nation that would live ungodly. And Babylon is definitely that ungodly place. Let me also get it in the Amplified. In 2 Peter 2, and I'll start at 5. It says, and if he did not spare the ancient world, but protected Noah, a preacher of righteousness, with 7 others, when he brought the judgment of a flood upon the world of the ungodly, and he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to destruction by reducing them to ashes. And y'all just saw that in that video. All right, going to these different structures that used to be, probably homes or businesses. All right. You touch it, it just is ash everywhere. And then, there's sulfur balls, in the creases of the rubble, showing you the evidence, the tokens of the Lord's everlasting judgment, because that judgment is everlasting. It hasn't been inhabited ever since. it's still laying in ruins to this day, thousands of years later, right? It says, having made them an example to those who would live ungodly lives thereafter. And if he rescued Lot, righteous Lot, who was tormented by the immoral conduct of unprincipled and ungodly men, that's what you have here. People rebelling against the righteous natural order, that the Heavenly Father set in the earth. People taking pleasure in it, philosophizing to justify it. Like devils like Alfred Kinsey and the whole sexual revolution. And so everybody's just freaked out. And then they're imposing that ideology on the children very young, trying to groom them. So it definitely torments us because, we got to be around it and you got to raise children amongst it. It says, for that just man, while living among them, felt his righteousness soul tormented day by day by what he saw and heard of their lawless acts. Then, in the light of the fact that all this is true, be sure that the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trial and how to keep the unrighteous under punishment until the day of judgment. And that's, all these people, they exactly are being reserved. So these people, they're gonna feel that energy, man. Same must know it after death by pain, especially our people. You're gonna be in that torment. You're gonna be tormented in that fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Not this mysterious place called hell where you burn in some other realm, like Nate and them is teaching. No, you're gonna be right here in Babylon. You're gonna be right here in Sin City, trying to get your rocks off in a unseemly fashion, and then the missiles are gonna be flying. Okay. So let's go from there. And let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. 10. Yep. This is Wisdom of Solomon 10. And this is any of the good news. Wisdom of Solomon 10 and verse 6. And it says, wisdom rescued a righteous man while ungodly people were dying. We're talking about Lot. He escaped the flames that destroyed the 5 cities. You can see the evidence of their wickedness. This is the evidence.
People say, what about Sodom and Gomorrah? Where's that at? Well, the Lord said in Genesis 19, he would rain upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone. Brimstone is burning sulfur. The city's all burned, and the bricks have actually turned to ash. Peppered in that ash, there are thousands, actually millions of sulfur balls. These are actually pieces of 99% sulfur.
Yep. So this is your evidence right here. Now, am I saying that when the Lord rained fire and brimstone on Babylon, is it going to be literal fireballs and sulfur coming down? No. Obviously, it's going to be the nuclear missiles. That's going to be your modern Sodom. It's going to be your modern day fire and brimstone, and all the elements that these scientists put together to create the nuclear bomb. And using those chemicals like plutonium and uranium and so on and so forth. That's what's going to be used to come together. And once it activates and detonates, it's going to let off that heat, that evaporating wind. All right. And it's going to clear everything in its paths, except the men of the Lord and the sisters, who make it, and the children. Because they're going to be in the ship, and we're going to be in the air, and we're going to be looking down and watching it. It's going to be crazy, man. But The Lord, he showed receipts. This is evidence. Every once in a while, this we bring this out. Especially, this is the perfect timing. You know, it being the month that it is. Okay, too much pride. I think I saw that some little bar in was it in Utah or Idaho, one of them states, where they was basically giving free beers to straight men. I thought it was funny. I'm like, man, if I was in that city, man, I'll go and go for a beer. Shit, you know, for us normal folks out here. But anyway, so this is it. So let me finish the video again, and then we'll go back.
The outside is kind of a white color, but if you break it open, it's a little more yellow inside. It kind of, apparently it burned itself out. Golf ball size, variety of size. It literally rained sulfur on that city. I've had several friends, even some scoffers, who said, I don't think that's true. And they went over there to the place where Ron said they were, and they dug through the ash, and sure enough, there are literally millions of these sulfur balls. If you scrape off this white coating, it's pure yellow sulfur, 99.6% pure sulfur. As the sulfur would burn itself out, it would encapsulate itself in its own ash and shut off its oxygen supply. Ends up with a coating around a pure sulfur ball. Found no place in the world except this place over there.
Yep. So I'm going to read that again. It says, you can still see the evidence of their wickedness. So the wickedness had to have been very great. All right. And guess what? When the Lord destroys this place, the Lord's going to leave that evidence again. All right. It's going to be one big desolate wasteland, you know, from Maine to California. All that landmass gone. All right. And there's going to be nothing but desert creatures dwelling here. That's in Isaiah 34, Revelation 18, and was it 2? It says the land there is barren and smoking. And it's not still smoking, but, you know, I'm pretty sure that smoke had to go up for a pretty long time before it cleared out. It says the plants bear fruit that never ripens, and a pillar of salt stands as a monument to one who did not believe, Lot's wife. The people of those cities ignored wisdom, just like they ignoring the wisdom that crieth without in the streets in the chief place of concourse. They still ignoring it. You know, you have Jake, you know, he'll walk by with stilettos and pumps. They'll walk by with makeup on. 2 men walking by holding hands, 2 women walking by holding hands. And they'll get even more proud and clutch each other's hands even harder when they see us. That ain't nothing but a perverse spirit that's on them. So they're ignoring the wisdom of the Lord and, you know, what the Lord said about these practices. You know, they that do it are an abomination, man, and they should surely be put to death and let their blood be upon them. Okay. It says the people of those cities ignore wisdom and cannot tell right from wrong. Not only that, but the remains of their city still remind us of the foolish way they lived, so that their failure can never be forgotten. But wisdom rescued her servants from the danger. Okay. And at the beginning of it's like, what does it say in Psalms? Fear is the beginning of wisdom. You know, so it takes fear, and that's what's missing in the society. That's why the Lord's going to bring a judgment even far greater than both the flood and the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah in those cities. So, yeah, man, I just want to show that. And Babylon, it fits the bill, all right? And the fact that there's numbers of there's numerous cities called sulfur, and we know that was an element that the Lord used in destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. It tells you all you need to know if you're thinking spiritually. All right. So, hey, just like the overthrow, that's how this place is gonna go out. Let me get Jeremiah. I think it's in Jeremiah 50. And I'm going to just go straight to the point. There it is. Jeremiah 50 and 39. And it says, therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And you see the Lord's raising up, these rulers to come against Babylon the Great, and against basically the beast, primarily Russia. All right, and recently, the most recent move after Biden greenlighted Ukraine to use American-made weapons, they sending some troops down to Cuba. They about to have an exercise over in Cuba. So the Lord is stirring up that northern country. There's the Medes, Gog and Magog. All right, so the Lord's going to use them, to bring forth those weapons of indignation that He may destroy the whole land. It says they shall hold the bow and the lance. That's your modern day nuclear missile and silo. It says they are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. And those missiles going to come with accuracy. All right, in formation like an army, like men of war. And then you can go to the corresponding scriptures in relation to this prophecy. You can go to Revelation 9, where it describes them riding on breastplates, riding on horses with breastplates of fire. Revelation 9 and the 16. Yeah, Revelation 9 and 16, it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them. And this is all parabolic. He's using similitude here. It's not literal, like they're going to come down. There's going to be some actual men on horses with breastplates of fire. All right. This is talking about those nuclear missiles that's going to come over here, those nuclear warheads. And I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, sulfur, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. And you ain't never seen no head, all right, issuing out fire and brimstone. You ain't never seen a lion can spit fire, literally. So this is clearly using similitude, okay? And it says, and by these three were the third parts of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. All right, and Babylon is tailor-made for this judgment. All right, so it's going to get that brimstone. Hell, brimstone is named in inner cities. So it's spiritual. All right, and I remember Medvedev, he even quoted this scripture, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Let's see if I could find that. I know he had quoted it. me jump down. This Yahoo News. Yeah, he said, this is what it says. It says, Medvedev is afraid that then everything will catch fire in the West, which is weakening Russia by proxy, will not be able to sit it out. Everything will catch fire around them as well. Their people will be devastated. Their earth will literally burn. And the day of the Lord is going to burn like an oven. It is going to burn, especially when it gets to this point. And concrete will melt. Yeah, it's going to melt with fervent heat and great noise. 2 Peter 3. We too will suffer a lot because it's going to be mutual assured destruction. It will be very bad for everyone. After all, it is said, by these 3 plagues, a third of mankind was killed by the fire and smoke and sulfur coming out of their mouths. Revelation 9:18. Medvedev concluded terrifyingly. So he was the former president. I think he's now, I don't know if he's a foreign minister or, he's a top official, one of the top officials under Putin now. All right. But now that, the Spirit made him quote that. And this was towards Babylon. Okay. So this was important to bring out, man, especially being so-called Pride Month. And that was one of the sins of Sodom was pride. When you read Ezekiel 16, so these people they're going to find out, man. Okay. And we get vexed by this behavior and the spirit that we see our people engulfed in. But at the end of the day, that's what the Lord said, not to lift up a cry nor a prayer for them. So they are going to get judged. So Lord willing, y'all edified. I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Shai. And to the next one, Shalom.